Listen, 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 ladies and gentlemen, we got breaking news to discuss involving Ace Bailey. This is breaking right now. He is receiving the superstar treatment, and I'm going to tell you numerous reasons why, but the Jazz have made a big step in crowning him as their guy. Number one, Omar Cooper Jr., the son of Ace Bailey's manager, Omar Cooper, is reportedly working as a guest coach for the Utah Jazz during this year's Summer League. This is according to all Salt Lake News and reporting. You've seen him basically as a ball boy, on camera for for Walter Clayton and Ace Bailey. They was getting shots up. You know, this is big time. It's so crazy because Omar Cooper, he received a lot of backlash, and let's stop acting like they were singing his praises not too long. They wasn't, you know. Basically they were saying how he wasn't a real representative and things like that. He wasn't valid, um, and he basically wanted to debunk some of those claims, and I think he did, in my humble opinion. Ace Bailey, like I repeat, is receiving the superstar treatment. He had an unusual process, obviously, um, and basically his pre-draft process was basically steered by Omar Cooper. And basically, people are gonna raise an eyebrow here and think that something may have went wrong or whatever. But I want to give you some more reports that Bailey, we all know, didn't take a single visit with any NBA team ahead of June's draft. Reportedly going as far as to telling one team in the top five that he wouldn't report if he was drafted by them. We still don't know exactly who and what team that was. But Ace Bailey was always projected to be a top three pick. We all know that. Um, he was supposed to be in Philadelphia, not VJ Edgecombe. If you look at all of the mock drafts, they all had obviously Cooper Flag going number one to the Dallas Mavericks. They had obviously his point guard, Dylan Harper, out of Rutgers. He was supposed to be going to San Antonio, which he did, and everybody thought Ace was on his way to Philadelphia. But some way, somehow, he didn't go there, rose eyebrows. You heard Paul George speak out, and people thought that he wanted to go to Washington, even though it was no report that it was Washington in particular. It was just any teams around that 6, 7, 8 range. He thought that he can come in and be that go-to guy, that scorer, which is he's going to get everything he thought he was going to get there. He's going to get it in Utah, and I think that the Jazz are showing him that firsthand. So it was concerns that he probably wasn't going to come to Utah when he got drafted. You seen Walter Clayton; he took the private jet. He didn't join him, but they end up all linking up there, and he is there. Ace Bailey is a member of the Utah Jazz. Point blank. Period. They took him. And he's ingratiating himself in the community. We pointed that out. Cooper also reportedly created some doubts as to whether Bailey would report to the Jazz for the team's summer league training camp. This is reported from a lot of different places. Um, though he was in Utah over the weekend, seemingly putting any of those concerns to bed. So basically, like I told you, Utah and Ace and his representation, they are in great standings. That's all but over with. That was during the draft. Now he's happy to be in Utah. So we gonna find out. People are comparing Ace Bailey to people like Michael Porter Jr. I even heard a young Tracy McGrady. People are going that far. So it's gonna be interesting to see where they move in this direction. Um, the Utah Jazz, they gonna have to leapfrog some teams. They got a long way to go. I don't know if they're gonna be competitive because the Western Conference is so deep. If something tells me that the Utah Jazz got to be at least 2, 3 years away from possibly competing, but you never know. It's always a wild card team if they can add the right veteran. Let's see what happens. Let's see what Utah wants to do. By all accounts, it looks like they plan on losing. They plan on letting these young guys develop, and you seeing it firsthand. So I expect Utah to be back in the draft next year, looking for a player to play alongside of Ace Bailey and his people. Pardon me. The Utah Jazz, they had to do it. They had to get Ace Bailey. Any other pick would have just been completely uncivilized. It would have never worked out for them. They had to strike gold. You are in Utah and you are in the loaded Western Conference where there are superstars on every roster. You have to draft a player who has the upside to give you that all-star superstar potential. Oftentimes, they try to go for best player available. In this case, Ace Bailey was the best player available. There was nobody better than him that was on the board. Some people could argue Trey Johnson. But like I said, Ace Bailey, from all mock drafts, he should have been the third overall pick. Now, I repeat, we all know he didn't work out for anybody, but to Ace's credit and his representation, everybody's seen him work out at the combine. Everybody got his measurements, they got it all. So I don't think that it was something that he was trying not to take the floor, because that's what I think was trying to get mixed and screwed out there. So, I mean, we're going to have to find out how this all shakes out. And there's only one way to figure it all out, and that's the floor. Ace Bailey has an amazing opportunity to play the game that he loves, the game that we love to watch, and put everything to bed. Because if he goes out there game one and puts up 30, nobody's gonna be talking about what happened in the draft. People are gonna be excited for Utah and their potential and the young talent that's emerging out of there. Danny Ainge is gonna be looking like a genius. Austin Ainge, it's fire, it's excitement coming to Utah. And that's something that they didn't have. They didn't have no sizzle. You had players on this roster, but they wasn't really giving you that flavor. Now you pause. Now you got obviously Bailey, but Walter Clayton, I think, is a guy that's going to be able to do some things for him. So Utah, to me, I think they had a home run of a draft. To bring in these two guys, Ace, and then you bring in a champion in college. I mean, this is how you change the tide. Me, I'm a Knicks fan. I remember when the Knicks was the Utah Jazz. I remember that. Every team was in this point, and it's going to be interesting to see as years progress, where they are when it's all said and done. I'm going to leave it at that. It's Flight Sports TV. We got breaking news. Ace Bailey, hires, a big time situation, for the Utah Jazz coaching staff. It was an ace hire, is to make him comfortable up here in these mountains. And, let's see what happens. Make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. You already know what it is. It's Flight Sports TV.